Hi, Statesman Nation. Welcome to a special announcement today. We are joined by Athletic Director Nick Rule. I am Wade Steinlug, Assistant Athletic Director for Communications, and we are also joined by Simon Brown, our new men's soccer coach here at William Penn University. So, Simon, we're going to have you sit there and just look pretty for a while, but Nick and I will talk about the process a little bit. So, Nick, this is kind of been something that we've obviously been working on for a few weeks, in addition to all the other craziness that's been going on in the world. But I guess break down the process here since Jamie announced that Jamie Highcock announced that he was leaving.
Yeah, so I mean, we had a structure in place prior to where we had two full-time coaches, a head coach and associate head coach, which was Simon, leading both teams, the men's and the women's program. A few years ago, under our prior athletic director, Greg Hafner, that structure was put into place. And I think at the time, it was something that, there's some really solid rationale behind. You had a really strong, dynamic coaching staff that was making some real nice progress on the men's side of things. When they were able to take over the women's side, that was a program that only really had 17 people at the time. And it needed a lot of work. It needed some tender loving care, but it also needed some focus, and it needed some people that were willing to be some high achievers and build and rebuild that program. And so, that program is in the process of in that rebuild, and a rebuild takes time. And what Jamie and Simon did on the women's side of things is, as far as getting to where it is today, when we make the announcement as we go through the hiring process for the women's soccer coach, they're going to be in a good spot. On the men's side of things, obviously that rebuild was a few more years down the line, and we saw the results of the process and the time it takes, and people sticking it out and buying in, and the results of the men's side, obviously we saw this last fall, were phenomenal. And so as we assessed the two programs, I mean, the first thing that immediately when Coach Highcock decided to step aside and pursue a new opportunity in Division I, the first thing I thought was we got to split these programs, and because they've grown to the point to where they need the attention from the coaching staff, full attention for it, and because they've done such a great job, they've grown those. And so your person only has 24 hours in a day, and so it just made a lot of sense. And so that was the first decision: is let's split the programs and have two head coaches now. The second decision was, what are we going to do with the current staff in place with the graduate assistants and things like that? And we've come up with a solution on that. And then the final decision was, we want to keep Simon around. There's no doubt about that. Simon wants to stay around. Simon is a very important piece to our athletic department, a very up and coming coach. And then we had to decide what program was going to be best for the program and for him. And as the rebuild has been done on the men's side, it's sometimes just as hard to sustain success as it is to rebuild and achieve success. And so with the level that program was at on the men's side, it was important to have that continuity with Simon in that role. In the same respect, we took resumes for both the men's job and the women's job, and we had some really amazing and talented applicants on the women's side of things. And so putting all these pieces together, it's like it makes sense to have Simon continue with the men's program, have one of the current GAs go with the women, one of the current GAs go with the men, and then hire a women's coach because of the applicant pool that we had. And so that's where we're at. We just needed to figure out where Simon was going to be best and for the university, and having him as our men's soccer coach, our next men's soccer coach, is what's going to be best for William Penn, and hiring someone from the outside to come in is going to be what's best for William Penn on the women's side.
Right. Simon, almost ready for you.
My best.
One more, Nick. I know you got a lot of a vote of confidence, I guess the word I'm looking for, from the men's team as well when you let them know that Jamie was leaving. And I'll let you tell the story, but they were very excited about a certain individual.
Yeah, one thing, anytime you have a situation, very, very rarely have we had a coach actually leave and pursue another opportunity in the last few years. And so this is kind of actually somewhat new. Some of our past changes in staff have been something that we thought were best for the university. And so in those cases, I'm just meeting with the program by myself. In this case, it was all of the coaching staff, and Jamie was there and everything. And obviously there's a lot of love for Jamie. At the end on the men's side of things, the whole room started breaking into a chant of Simon, Simon, Simon. Now, I will say this, that was a resounding endorsement, but that's not the reason why we did this. We did this because it's the best thing. The women really love Simon as well. And, but, again, it kind of goes back to the prior answer. It's just, this is what we needed to do, and what's best for William Penn and our soccer programs. And, but yeah, it was pretty cool, and that's a testament to Simon and what he's done. It's a testament to Jamie and building Simon up as a coach. One thing as a prior coach myself is that you want your coaching tree to be able to do great things, and you take great pride in the people that worked under you going on and being ready for that next opportunity, where there was no doubt that Simon was ready for that opportunity here. And so that's a testament to his work ethic and his buy-in as a coach, and also a testament to how he was groomed as well.
Right. All right, Simon. Everybody loves you, man. So, all right, no pressure at all. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about taking over a program that you've been with for the last few years. So obviously having that familiarity and the comfort level is there, but just talk about taking over this program.
Yeah. So one of the first things when I met with Nick and we spoke was I was really adamant that I didn't just want to be given the position. I didn't just want it to be handed to me and it was assumed that I was going to get it. Same thing as for the women's program. I wouldn't want it to be assumed that. And again, there's not a million things that we have to change right away with the men's team because they're already set up for success. And that's due to the hard work that Jamie's done in the 5 years that he was here. I was here for 3 years of that as an assistant to him. So again, we've put a lot of things in place that's slowly trickled into success on the field, but also off the field as far as recruiting talent, as far as attendance, as far as academics, as far as just logistics and discipline. All that stuff has kind of trickled into the success that you guys saw on the field last year. So it's just a couple of other things that we want to implement as far as the men's team moving forward. So just a couple of things that we're excited about. And obviously I'd known about Jamie. He was talking to the university for a while, so I kind of had a feeling that something like this was going to happen. Again, when I met with Nick, it was a very I don't want to change a lot of things. There's a couple of things that we can improve, but also I want to feel like I earned it. And then that I think the kids want to feel that as well. They don't want to just feel like a coach is given something and it's just an easy transition and things will just be the same, because they won't be the same. It'll be a different perspective, different coach, but also we're trying to enhance the things that we worked on and not change a million things at once.
Right. Talk about that importance of only having to deal with one team. Now, again, like I said, all the pressure is all on, okay, well, you only have one team, so, maybe, extra pressure to really succeed now. But again, got that familiarity, but how much, I guess, easier, without coming up with a better word for it, is it to just now have to only deal with one team?
Yeah, I think we often described it as twice the work and half the time when we have to do both programs. And that's no disrespect to either team or the workload, but when we're having a 2-a-day in preseason, that's really a 4-a-day for the coaches. Right. Because we have 4 sessions each. Or when we have an 18-game season for the men and the women and they aren't double headers, that's 25 games a coach for each season. So it's a little bit more work and it's just a little bit more focused now. Again, with for lack of a better term, easier, also comes a little bit more pressure when you take over a team that's as coveted as the William Penn's men's soccer team is now. There comes a little bit more pressure with that as well. So again, I think the goal of the university was to give each individual program a focus that it deserves in different stages of rebuilds and where they're at, as like what Nick said, in regards to sustainability and stuff like that. So I think to really give the teams a proper focus is what I'm really excited about, and give them undivided attention.
Yeah. This is more of a pat on Jamie's back, but talk about the things that you learned from Jamie over the years that you're really excited about continue to implement, but also and then kind of segue that into the things that you said, hey, I want to make sure that we're doing better at this, A, B, and C. I mean, you don't have to give out every example, but talk about Jamie's influence, and then also what you want to possibly change up a little bit.
Yeah, so one of Jamie's best characteristics, he's very direct. He doesn't beat around the bush as far as his feelings, emotions. Isn't great at hiding his emotions, which is a great thing. because anytime a men's player had an issue or something like that, the problem was just resolved right away.
Right.
If there was an issue with playing time or class, the kid was in the office within 5 minutes, and that was hashed out right away. Instead of letting the problem build for a long period of time, day, a week, or something like that, it was just figured out right away. And I've never worked with someone that was as blunt as Jamie, but it worked out really well with the kids because they knew what they were, and they also knew what they had to achieve right away.
Right.
And as far as things to look to build on, just a couple of things that we need to fix, not fix, but enhance with the team is, and this will be able to come where the attention of a head coach. It's just a couple of the discipline organization of the teams, and just getting them to buy in a little bit more to the fact that we need to be a little more structured in what we do. And again, that'll come from having one coach with one focus, as opposed to a little bit of divided attention from the both of us at times.
Sure, definitely. All right, you've kind of already talked a little bit about this, but break down your coaching philosophy. What is Coach Simon Brown all about? What is your foundation? What do you build up from?
Yeah, good. Obviously, the first thing that comes to my mind is, I've just touched on it there, is the discipline part of it. Not discipline like I'm going to be an army coach and be regimented, but one of the things that, just from having the boys from last year, they'd always say is, Coach Simon never smiles. So I was never a friend to the boys. I was never the friendly assistant. Sometimes that's easy to be the case, but I was always tougher on the guys, probably than the GAs were, and that's probably the way it's supposed to be. So I already have that level of respect with the men's team, and just looking to enhance that level of discipline, like little things that we can help, that will push on to the team in the field, in the classroom, in and about the school, all those little things. And then the second thing that I would say in my philosophy would be a lot more I would need to do a better job of implementing a relationship-based approach with the players. Like I said, they call me Coach Simon that doesn't smile. So there's one thing I have to do, is building a closer relationship, to understand that sometimes you need to be strict and sometimes you have to give tough love. And the reason we're doing that is for the greater good of the individual and the team.
Yeah. Nick, bouncing back at you, you've heard your new men's soccer coach talk about his philosophy a little bit. How does that align with what you want from a coach as his supervisor?
Well, I mean, two things. One, as having every single day being able to the best job in the world, in my opinion, leading our athletic department, I get really excited listening to him. And the second part to that is, as a men's soccer alumni, I get really excited listening to him right now. And I want to touch on, it builds off this question, Wade, is that, Simon wasn't given this.
Right.
Simon and I had a meeting, and it was going to be a meeting. It was an informal interview that I wanted to follow up with a formal interview, but I really had 4 to 5 areas that I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear about culture. I wanted to, every single, whether it's the same coach or not, every single year as a coach, you are having to get better and move things forward. If you stay stagnant, you get behind. That's why sometimes sustained success is really hard. Coach Henry and I talk about this all the time, with his involvement with men's basketball, my involvement with women's golf over the years, in my prior roles. It's like, sometimes, sustained success is taken for granted, but it's really, really difficult. And in order to have sustained success, you need to have someone who's willing to advance the culture and move things forward. Sometimes, even though that when things go really, really well, that doesn't mean that you don't change anything at all. It's all about enhancements. And I liked the word he said, enhancements, there. And so in that meeting, I wanted to hear about culture. I wanted to hear about discipline. I wanted to hear about what is going to be the next level for that program. And he didn't have any of the questions ahead of time. And in 15 minutes, he knocked them all out of the park. And to me, it's like, okay, well, we don't even need to do the next thing. Now we just need to figure out, what makes sense as far as which program is concerned. And so, but what that showed me is that Simon has a very deep understanding of William Penn. He has a very deep understanding of our student athletes. He has a very deep understanding of what it's like to be a part of our Statesman family and our team, our athletic department team. And so, that was very important to hear. And so he really checked all those boxes. And it's a testament to anyone that's out there in the profession, is that, nothing's ever given to you, but if you plan, all right, and you prepare, all right, and you really have a deep inherent belief in your own self-leadership and know who you are, those are 15 valuable minutes. That those 15 minutes were something that an outsider coming in would need an hour and a half to describe. And so it was just a no-brainer in the end. And so I'm excited. I think both our soccer programs, the future is very, very bright.
Yeah. Simon, back to you. Obviously, a difficult time to be a coach, be at anything in the world right now.
Yeah.
But being a coach, and right now you guys would be trying to run some spring ball practices, et cetera, and you probably have only a handful of individuals even on campus. But talk about, I guess, what you're doing right now and what I can't say the first 100 days, because the first 100 days gets us pretty close to what the season looks like, or the start of the season, hopefully. So just talk about, I guess, what you're going to do here, in the foreseeable future to continue to build the program.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a unique experience these next couple of weeks and months. And I don't think I'll ever forget my first head coaching position with what's going to transpire in the next couple of months. So we're all in uncharted territory. We're all trying to figure it out. But platforms like this is a fantastic tool to get FaceTime with the kids and just get that interaction that we need to do right away. Obviously, it's a bit of a bittersweet moment because I really did enjoy coaching the women's program here. I recruit a lot of them personally myself. So I can't wait to be here next year and just be a supporter of them from the sidelines too. So that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to for the women's team for next year. As far as the men's team, like I said, using this platform right here, like Zoom, to connect with the players and also connect with the recruits that we're speaking to also. Just to let them know that we're still go ahead for August. I know there's some good news starting to trickle down about stuff that's starting in the summer and stuff like that as far as August timeline. So we're looking pretty healthy as far as getting things going when we report at the start of August. So like I said, contacting the boys through our WhatsApp, contacting them through email, sending them our workout packages, and then setting up meetings like this through Zoom is all the things that we just have to be a little bit creative with, I guess, and try to figure out solutions to the problems that we have, because we're not the only ones that are at that. So
sure. Not to oversimplify the situation, but being that soccer is such a worldwide sport, and that we have so many individuals that are obviously not just from an hour or two away or whatever on the roster, does it possibly make it kind of seem like not same old, but this isn't too far from what we would normally be doing anyhow? I mean, I feel like there'd be a lot of Zoom meetings anyhow with, if you were recruiting a kid from England or Argentina or whatever. So do you feel like you're already kind of prepared for a situation like this over the next few months?
Yeah, so multiple times a day we're FaceTiming, we're talking to kids from all over the world. I just had a phone call with a recruiter from Mexico. So we're constantly on the phone using the digital aspects, with it being a universal game. But also there's kids out there from countries that we're recruiting that are hurting quite a lot, and their families are hurting, their countries are hurting. So we're recruiting an Italian kid right now, and just speaking to him, he's been on lockdown for a month in Rome, and he can't leave his house, and families trying to figure out what to do, and just being able to be a support system there, that there's a bright future ahead in soccer, and hopefully he chooses to come to William Penn, and we can be that little bit of light down the line. So it's a very interesting time we're in right now, and just using the platforms like this and what we have before, and understanding what it's like to really recruit globally when we have a university like this that is so prides itself on such diversity, that when we go through a massive problem like this that's unprecedented, that we're all in this together.
Gotcha. Simon, I'll come back to you in a second to give you a little heads up what I'm going to say. Just give everyone, whoever's watching this, give them your best recruiting pitch. So think about that for a second. Nick, anything else you want to add to Simon's hiring?
Yeah, I mean, you talked about, the situation we're in with the COVID-19 virus and everything. And, that didn't change our feeling in what we wanted. And I think sometimes maybe someone say, well, it's easy to go internal. And maybe because of everything going on, that's a reason why. No, that's not at all. Like if this was going on, if it wasn't going on, Simon would still be our men's soccer coach. And it was just like I said before, it was just trying to figure out which was the right fit for the university. And so, this is a crazy time. And I think what Simon's talking about it just nails everything that we need to continue to focus on, is with, we need to give our student athletes, our current student athletes, and our recruits hope. We're in a time right now to where this is unprecedented throughout anyone that's really lived there, have lived life at this point. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. and we have to take things very serious. Obviously, us doing this interview here today, we're all on campus today, but we're Zooming because we are taking serious the social distancing and all those recommendations from the government, because we want to get back to normal. But our student athletes need to hear a hopeful voice, and they need to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And you know, I love the story that Simon just shared about the recruit from Rome. You know, we've got to continue to push forward. And this is altering our lives a little bit right now, but it can't change our lives forever. And so at some point we got to get back to doing what we do. And I'm very optimistic that's going to be sooner rather than later.
Yep. All right, Simon, you've had a couple minutes. So give me your best recruiting pitch. Why William Penn? Why play for Coach Simon Brown?
Obviously, William Penn, I feel like it's a lot easier sell now than where it was 3 to 5 years ago. As a team, we were promising something that wasn't tangible and what you couldn't actually see. But now you can see it with a number next to our name, and also the results that we had last year. Obviously, past results mean nothing for the future, but we're in a better place where we have before, and it can only go higher from here. We're recruiting a higher caliber kid from right now, and the kids that we're bringing back, the sky's the limit for this team. And we've set up a schedule next year that's going to be very, very tough. That's going to test us from the start. So we'll figure out right where we are right away. As far as Simon Brown goes, without patting myself too much on the back, wherever I've gone, I've had success. As a player, both universities I played at were both the best programs ever. When I was at Hastings, the women's team both broke a lot of records. The men's team won a national championship. Came to William Penn within 3 years after Jamie and Nick hired me. And within 3 years, we've gone from a team that was winning 9-10 games to a team that was hosting a national tournament game. So within the next 3 years to 5 years, whatever that may be, like I said, wherever I've gone, I've had success, and that's going to continue at William Penn.
There you go.
Love it.
I have eligibility. I can't play soccer, but I got eligibility. I'll play for you.
You shave that beard, I'll give you a game.
There you go.
Hey, wait, we want high caliber athletes.
Yeah. Everybody needs a water boy. Come on.
Wade, you're incredible at what you do, and we need you where you're at.
Okay, thank you. Yes, yeah, I'll say exactly where I'm at. Trust me, I'm not going out there. All right. So once again, congratulations, Simon Brown, our new men's soccer coach here at William Penn. Best of luck in the future, and we'll continue tracking everything on statesmanathletics.com. So we will talk to you later, Statesman Nation. Stay safe, stay healthy, and go Statesman.
Thank you.